best heavy week, the best professional wrestling discussion on the internet, World Wrestling Entertainment, TNA Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and much more. This, ladies and gentlemen, is In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome to this week's edition of In the Hot Seat. And of course, I got a great show lineup for you guys, and of course, I do got a brand new guest joining me at this time. And would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? It's Talent.
Alright, it's a pleasure to have you here, and of course, as always, we do got the usual 3 to 4 questions slash topics, and we're gonna get that started with right now. And starting things off here with thoughts on Jay Lethal's release from TNA, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I think TNA lost a really good guy there. You know, he is one of the was one of my favorites in the X division and all that. And them releasing him, I think that was a really bad move because they didn't really give him a chance. Like they may have had him win the X division title, I believe last year or last year.
Yeah.
But I think they should have gave him more of a chance on TV and stuff. I know he was at Lockdown and all. But I think they should have kept him in the company and all that. And I just don't really like them releasing him because he was a really good athlete and he had a lot of talent in him. So I don't think that was right. But, you know, maybe they'll bring him back. But I don't know. But I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I thought he was a good talent too. I mean, it was actually one of my favorites. I actually had the opportunity into meeting him at one of the house shows that were over here. And was able to get his autograph, and he was a really nice guy too. So it's a shame that TNA let him go, and on his birthday, as I've heard, as of late too. So I don't know what the story was with that. So that sucks even more for him.
Yeah.
With that, I'm not too sure what he's gonna do now. I'm sure he's gonna be probably in the Indies and stuff like that, and
Probably.
maybe go to ROH. Where do you think he will go from there since he's been released?
Like you were saying, the Indies and all that, I think we might see him in an ROH, maybe.
Okay.
It's a possibility because I think he was at ROH before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
If he was at ROH, I guess they can take him back. But I don't see him going to WWE. I just don't really see him. I mean, I could see, he probably could give some good matches with high flyers with like Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Kofi Kingston, guys like that. But I just don't see him going to WWE. But maybe in a year or two, that TNA might bring him back. He might, I don't think we've never seen a heel Jay Lethal, so you never know. He might come back as a heel, but I don't see him as being a heel. I like him better as a face, but I do see him maybe going to ROH or some other indie promotions like that.
Yeah, with him in WWE, it's kind of iffy right now to see what they're going to do with this character, whether or not they're going to mess it up. Hopefully they don't if he does go there, so we'll have to wait and see what holds for Jay Lethal in his future.
Yeah.
Alright, the next thing I got here, and that is with Dolph Ziggler, and as of last week, he cut his hair and has a new look, and in a way with a new personality, a more serious side of Dolph Ziggler. And what are your thoughts on that?
To tell you the truth, he kind of did look aggressive at the end of him born, and I do believe that we may see a more aggressive Dolph Ziggler in the coming weeks of Raw. And you never know, he could get his way up to the top, maybe get a championship shot because he hasn't got one. Well, he did get one out on SmackDown, but he hasn't got one on Raw, seeing he just came back to Raw. But I do maybe his new look and his new attitude, I think that might maybe build his character up a little bit more and maybe build him up more to the main event status, not the mid card. He beat Evan Bourne last week, but I would want to see him more against more, like a John Morrison or like a possibly a John Cena, Randy Orton, guys like that, like in the main event, like not like the mid card match, but like a main event match, maybe out on Raw or something like that. I'd like to see. But I do see him maybe, taking a stand and being more aggressive in his in-ring competition and all that. Yeah, I do. So I think that's going to work out for him.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I think it's working out for him so far. you know, with his new look, so it's a more serious side to him. Hopefully this could mean that he'll probably even go as far as winning the world title maybe sometime later on in the year, so I think that would be cool, and you know, become a main eventer too as well. Alright, the next thing I got here, and that is which retired championship or championships would you like to have return to the WWE?
I got two right there.
Oh,
The
that's fine.
hardcore championship being first because here's my scenario. Here's what I was thinking. Seeing the core originally had like the tag titles, and Wade Barrett still has the Intercontinental title. If they had the hardcore title round, maybe Ezekiel Jackson could have had the hardcore title, so all the core members would have each had a title belt. But yeah, the hardcore championship, that was one of my favorites. It was defended 24/7. They would do the same thing in WWE like right now. I mean, but no blood or none of that because they don't do none of that because they're PG show and all. But
Yeah.
I don't, you know, as long as they give some good hardcore matches 24/7, the title will be defended. You know, we could see guys like Ezekiel Jackson, like I said. Who else? You could see guys like possibly, you know, some of the guys that you really don't see that much, like, well, Alex Riley, you know, guys like that, Michael McGillicuddy, Mason Ryan, like some of the guys in the New Nexus, guys like that, really, that don't get a, you know, a chance at like one of the other titles, so they could go at that title, you know, that would be really cool. And the Cruiserweight Championship, you know, we have some of the, you know, lightweight guys like Sin Cara, he's new, Mysterio, Kingston, Gabriel, guys like that could fight for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'd like to see matches of them. And if you were to ask me who would deserve the Cruiserweight Championship right now, I would have to say one of my favorite high flyers right now in the WWE, that would be Justin Gabriel. His 450 splash is pretty good move, amazing move. You know, and I would like to see him hold the belt. As I said, I'd like to see Ezekiel Jackson hold the Hardcore Championship. So those two belts I'd like to see come back.
Okay, that's actually a really cool idea. I kind of have, in a way, three belts. One is the way of an older, you know, world title. I definitely want to see the hardcore and the cruiserweight championships come back, and you know, pretty much agreeing with what you said there. I like the, you know, hardcore 24/7 rule. It gives a chance to, you know, have everyone basically get a shot at the championship. It can be anyone, you know, 24/7. So that's really cool, and I used to like seeing that. The Cruiserweight Championship, I think we definitely need that back too, especially now we got Sin Cara made his debut. You know, Rey Mysterio can probably have one more go at it, even Evan Bourne and Justin Gabriel too. So you got a couple of guys there who can, you know, face each other for the championship, and have maybe even as well as a storyline too going into that too. Also, I would like to see, you know, the older WWE Championship come back, the Gold Eagle, I believe it's called, championship.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you know, I thought that was a great championship, and you know, it'd be kind of cool to see that back. And yeah, that's basically it with that. So I had three, you know, championships I'd like to see back. And the last thing I do have here before we end this thing, and should the core and the Nexus split up, and what are your thoughts on that?
Let's see. Personally, I was thinking about this a while ago, and talking it over with my friend. But I was thinking, you know, I was thinking of a little angle here. So the new Nexus would break up, and then Michael McGillicuddy would be sent over to SmackDown. I guess the supplemental draft or something like that. But he would go over to SmackDown anyway, and he would see how it goes. Basically, the core would be beating down Ezekiel Jackson. They would get rid of him, and it looks like maybe Michael McGillicuddy is going to help Ezekiel Jackson out. And then what happens is he attacks him. The core, they beat him down. They do their finishers on him, and Michael McGillicuddy has joined the core. That's my scenario. So if I would have a group breakup, it would be the new Nexus, and maybe even Mason Ryan could you know, fill in for Ezekiel Jackson if they do break up. But if they do kick Ezekiel Jackson out of the core, because you know, as of late, he's been playing mind games with them, and the new Nexus hasn't been looking really good lately. But I would see the Nexus break up more, because the core, you know, they've been, to tell you the truth, the three of them, Gabriel, Barrett, and Slater, have been together since NXT season 1, so they're well known. You know that they may have been, you know, fighting each, you know, they may have been you know, having communication problems as of late, but they can probably resolve that and get rid of Zeke and bring in somebody else that they're really maybe Michael McGillicuddy, Mason Ryan, one of those guys, David Otunga, maybe David Otunga because he was from NXT season 1. They can bring maybe try and bring the Nexus back together, but not the Nexus. They still call them the Core, but the new Nexus should break up in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I thought about this too. I can see the Nexus breaking out. I can actually kind of see a little bit of the core breaking up, mainly with Wade Barrett, because I actually would like to see him how he's going to do on his own now that he's got the Intercontinental Championship, and just they gave you his slate just lost the tag title, so I can see them kind of breaking out. And I know we have basically the draft too as well, so anything can happen with that. So in a way more, I do see the core in a way breaking out. But I like your thoughts on that too, so that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. What I have for this show. Is there anything else you would like to get your thoughts on?
I was gonna say I like your idea. Like I gave a prediction, and I would say Wade Barrett would go to Raw. My draft predictions. That yeah, if the core does break up somehow, I'm a fan of the core, but I do want to see Wade Barrett on his own. Because he is the Intercontinental Champion. See how he does on if he is drafted to Raw, but most likely he will be. I like to see how he does on his own as the Intercontinental Champion without the core always being there. So we'll see what happens. Guys, the draft is tonight on Monday Night Raw. Things are going to be changed forever. The landscape's going to be changed. We don't know who's going where, and but we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah.
Alright, so that's actually really cool. I appreciate you coming on the show, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show as well. You guys can definitely continue the discussion down below in the comment section, and that about does it for this week's edition of In the Hot Seat, and I will catch you guys next week for next week's episode. Peace.